Section 33 of Indian Evidence Act, actually we are going to discuss today. It deals with the relevancy of certain evidence for providing in subsequent proceedings the truth of the fact therein stated. Till yesterday we were discussing with regard to section 32. Already we are well aware of the facts that section 32 only comes into picture where the direct witness is not available before the court of law for the reasons mentioned therein. Subsequently, this section 33 is also actually dealing about the same things, that here also the witness who has to come and depose before the court is not available to give his evidence. But despite this section 33 is bit different from comparing to earlier section 32. Here what happens, the statement is actually inculcated in a earlier proceeding. That means when the question of any evidence is arising in any case, either in the same case prior to the said date of hearing or in the previous proceedings, that means either civil or criminal case already decided in the past, if the same witness who has to come before the court had given some evidence and that evidence has become part and parcel of that case, that evidence can be used in subsequent proceedings as an evidence. That is what is section 33 is speaking about. But it is not as plain as we are discussing now. It is having certain conditions, that an evidence which is already marked in one case as an evidence, can it be used in the same case in a subsequent stage or in a subsequent different new proceedings? That is the question we are going to discuss under section 33. Here some conditions are there. Without compliance of these conditions, it is not possible to accept that section 33 will play the vital role in evidence. All those conditions we'll discuss one by one. So we have to understand that what are the main ingredients under section 33 are actually designed. First of all, there must be an evidence given by a witness in a judicial proceeding. Judicial proceeding is very clear, either civil suit or criminal case. The second ingredient is that or before any person authorized by the law to take it. That means not only in a judicial proceeding or in a suit of or criminal case, that evidence might have been given before any authorized person to take such evidence. Maybe an evidence is given to judicial magistrate or executive magistrate or any other authoritative person who is empowered to take the evidence in front of him. That will become relevant for the purpose of two important purposes. First of all, in a subsequent judicial proceeding, if the same question arises, the earlier evidence can be used in a subsequent proceeding. First thing. Second purpose is that in a later stage of the same judicial proceedings, that means one stage evidence is given by a person, but the same person is not available in a subsequent stage, his earlier evidence can be used in the subsequent state. For these two purposes, earlier evidence given in the same case or else given in the different case should become evidence in the subsequent stage or subsequent case. This is what is the gist of section 33. Next, another important thing in this is that the truth of the facts which it states when the witness is dead or cannot be found. When this is applicable is only when witness who had already given the evidence is either dead or he is not available before the court of law for any reason whatsoever, or else if he is not capable of giving the evidence at all before the court, or else if his presence cannot be secured by the court by spending huge amount and by spending unnecessary time, if his presence is possible to be secured, court if felt that it is unreasonable to spend such a time or money, in that case his earlier evidence can be used either in the same case in the subsequent proceeding or in the subsequent different new proceeding. So with this we understood the basic tenets of section 33, but as I said, there are some important exceptions or conditions, I can say better. These important conditions are applicable. When these conditions are complied, then only section 33 will become a relevant evidence. The first one is that proceeding was between the same parties or their representatives in the interest. That means we have already studied in CPC with regard to concept of res judicata, where one case is already decided, same parties either for the same subject matter or the parties who are claiming their rights from the original parties, they are filing subsequent proceeding. That subsequent proceeding is hit by doctrine of res judicata. Similarly here, the condition is put by section 33 is that whatever the evidence was given in the earlier case, the parties to the earlier case should be the same parties who are there in the subsequent case. So first condition is only applicable when two different proceedings are there. If in the same case means parties will be almost same, that's why the first condition is not applicable if the evidence is used in the same case. Why? Because already the parties are same. But if at all the second subsequent case is actually wanted to have the evidence of earlier evidence in the earlier proceedings, then in that case we have to see that parties must be same in both the cases, or else their representatives in the interest, maybe their legal heirs in any capacity. The second condition is that the adverse party in the proceeding had the right and opportunity to cross examination. That means if in the earlier case a person has given the witness but his evidence was not subjected to the cross examination, means that particular piece of evidence you cannot bring as a genuine document before this honorable court. Why? Because there it was not actually it has not actually reached its perfectness. Evidence will only reach its perfectness after the cross examination by the opposite party. If at all the opposite party was not given with the opportunity to cross examine, then how can we say that the evidence was proper? That's why this section 33 puts second condition that there must be some sufficient amount of opportunity should be given to the cross examination to the other side. Then only that evidence will become full and final and it will reach its finality. The last one is that the questions in issue were substantially the same in the first as in the subsequent proceeding. The same, again doctrine of res judicata also speaks about this. Whatever the questions were there in the earlier case, the same questions of law or facts should be either directly or indirectly. That means substantially they must be the same questions before the court should have been arised in the subsequent proceedings. That's why whatever evidence is given in the earlier case that can be brought before the court, telling that in earlier case the same evidence is given on substantially same questions are involved. That's why earlier evidence can be used in this case to come to the final judgment. This is what is the gist of section 33. Here criminal trial or inquiry shall be deemed to be a proceeding between prosecutor and the accused within the meaning of its section. That means in this case how we have to understand the proceedings. Proceedings we have to understand mainly as criminal trial or any inquiry in a law of crime shall be deemed to have been considered as a proceeding between the prosecution and the defense. And as we have studied earlier, legal proceedings includes civil proceeding also. That's why this concept can also be made applicable in the civil proceedings also. Thank you.